Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Dr. Rafiza Abdul Razak, the Head of Department, Curriculum and Instructional Technology, Faculty of Education, University Malaya, and the Director of International Innovative Educator Network Program, Microsoft Educator Peer Coaching. Our honorable guest speaker, Puan Fairuz Nadira Zainal from Microsoft Malaysia, Deputy Directors, Committee Members, and Peer Coaches. Welcome and thank you for joining us today for sharing session on how to be Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert. I'm Nadira, your program MC. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Now, let me introduce and brief a little background of our beautiful speaker. As a learning solution specialist at Microsoft Malaysia, Puan Fairuz Nadira Zainal is responsible for driving Microsoft education programs for K-12 and higher education. Her role is to grow, recruit, and actively engage certified MIEs, certified MIE experts, and Microsoft Global Training Partners to drive the educational programs and training and engagement for system leaders, school leaders, educators, and students. Puan Fairuz is no stranger to Microsoft. She was a Microsoft Learning Consultant previously, known as Teacher Ambassadors, from 2015 to 2018. She also has delivered thousands of interactive training sessions on 21st Century Learning Design module, Microsoft Office 365, Windows 10, Skype, Microsoft Teams, education for both educators and students in schools and universities, IT personnel, and also public officials. Without wasting any time, I would like to pass this mic to Puan Fairuz to continue our program. If peer coaches have any feedback or comments, you are allowed to type in chat box. I will respond to it throughout the session. Big applause to Puan Fairuz.
Thank you so much, Nora. Alhamdulillah, it's good to be here. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Rafiza for inviting me to this session. And I think it's not the first time, right, to meet all of you. And my hope is that, once we end this soon, on behalf of Microsoft Malaysia, we are hoping that all of you students, pre-service teachers will be our MIE experts, inshallah. And for everyone who's watching from the YouTube live and also from the Facebook live, hello everybody. And thank you for the wonderful introduction as well, Nora. Let me share my screen. Give me a moment. Right. Okay, so are you able to see my screen? Just a quick
yes.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
awesome.
you can see.
All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everybody. And this session is actually to walk you through what is the Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert Program all about, and also to share with you what is the platform that teachers and even pre-service teachers, educators, school leaders can leverage on to learn about Microsoft technology in teaching and learning, right? So I'm going to start with a Microsoft Educator Center first, and then to just give you a sharing on Certified MIE, and then we will go into Certified MIE Expert Program. Hope that's okay with everybody. All right, so at Microsoft, we believe that teachers need access to a robust professional development platform, right? That you can take courses on self-paced courses for your self-paced learning, and that continuous learning process for you, whether you want to learn about education, about technology, right? So Microsoft has Microsoft Educator Center. And this platform is widely used, not just in Malaysia, but worldwide, right? And I think everyone who's in the call right now, you are very familiar with education.microsoft.com. And upon completing your courses, you can actually earn digital badges and certificates, right? And this would be good for, you can even download your transcript, and this would be good for your CPD, especially for the teachers at schools and for the lecturers at universities, right? And this is just to show you a sample of a course, right? So in MEC, there's a course and there's a learning path, which I'm going to show you the difference between these two. So this is a sample of a course. If you are new to Microsoft Teams, or you want to learn more about maybe to take the course as a refresher, right? How can I use Microsoft Teams to support PDPR, for example? So because everyone's at home, kan? And after the school break, it will continue with home-based learning. This is for the public schools, right? So this is a course for you that you can take. There are plenty of courses in MEC, so this is one of it. Transform Learning with Microsoft Teams. You will see the duration of this course and when the course was published and what are the learning objectives, right? And this is the inside of the course. So once you click on the course, you can actually see the topics that you will learn throughout this course. And towards the end, in order to complete it, you would have to take the quiz. Right, so the questions in the quizzes are very direct, right? It's based on what you have learned throughout the course, so don't worry. And the passing rate is 80%. So some of the quizzes, depending on the courses, maybe 10 questions, 15 or 20 questions, right? But let's say you didn't pass the first time, you can retake the quiz, right? No problem, until you successfully completed it. Once you complete that course, this is a sample of the certificate and you get your digital badge. Okay, so you can even share your achievement on social media. So there's actually a button. Once you complete the course, you can actually share it to LinkedIn, to Facebook, right? So that you can also share your achievement as well as motivating others to learn the course in MEC. So we've looked at a course. So what is a learning path in MEC, right? So a learning path is actually a module, right? An online module that you can, inside the learning path, there are a few courses. So you have to complete all of that. For example, this is a 21st century learning design. So you can see on the right side here, right? So there's introducing 21CLD, collaboration, real-world problem solving. So these are all the courses that you have to complete in order to successfully complete the whole learning path, right? And why I'm highlighting this learning path as an example is because let's say you have time, right? And you want to deepen your understanding about 21st century learning design. This learning path can actually help you in your MIE expert nomination process, inshallah, right? So, and for those teachers out there, you are, even for the pre-service teachers, right? You want to take the Microsoft Certified Educator exam. So this is also a course or a learning path that you can take to study for the exam, right? So I've taken the MCA exam, alhamdulillah, and this learning path has helped me a lot. Okay, so we've seen the MEC, right? The platform where you can take these online courses for your self-paced learning. So the first certification program for educators, for school leaders, for pre-service teachers, right? I'm going to start with the Certified MIE. So MIE, it stands for Microsoft Innovative Educator. So the first step, this is actually one of the first steps to become MIE expert, okay? You have to sign into MEC, the platform that we have looked at just now, and complete 2 hours of content or courses, right? So whether you want to take 1 hour of course on Microsoft Teams or 1 hour course on Minecraft or OneNote, right? It's up to you. But you have to do this as this is the first step for you to apply as a MIE expert. You have to become certified MIE first, okay? So I hope everyone understands this. To be recognized as a certified MIE, you need to complete 2 hours of courses minimum in Microsoft Educator Center. So there's also another way to become certified MIE. So I work closely with the Microsoft Global Training Partners, right? So recently you had a program with one of our GTPs from Content Capital. So let's say you attend a training that's worth 2 hours. The duration is 2 hours, right? Whether it's in person or right now it's online training, by GTP or MI trainer, and they give you a code, an achievement code for you to redeem in Microsoft Educator Center. Then that also counts as 2 hours of training, and you will also get your certified MIE. So it's not just from the courses in MEC, but it's also based on the attendance in attending MI trainer or GTP's training, right? As long as you redeem the achievement code. So this is what I explained just now. To become certified MIE, you need to complete 2 hours of course, right? And then you will be recognized as a certified MIE. So students, if you have any questions, feel free. Are you able to use the chat page just now? But maybe we can have a Q&A session after this, yeah? So when you have completed your courses, 2 hours of courses, then you will automatically get this certified MIE badge and your certificate. Q&A session after this. All right. So this is certified MIE. So we've looked at MEC, Microsoft Educator Center, the platform for you to take the courses. And we've looked at certified MIE. And now is the best part, how you can be a certified MIE expert or MIEE. Okay, so what is MIE expert program about? It's actually a large community of educators that are very passionate and self-driven educators who are very passionate in teaching and learning, and they like to explore technology, they like to collaborate with each other, they like to, the networking level is very high if you join this community, and they like to teach others, they like to empower themselves by taking, learning all these cool technology stuff. At the same time, they like to also empower their students and other educators, right? So our MIE experts in Malaysia alone, they are very proactive, and they've been, even since before the first MCO, they've been doing a lot of sharing sessions, and it's just a pleasure working and collaborating with our MIE experts. In fact, for Microsoft education programs, we do invite many of our MIE experts to be the presenters, and inshallah, hopefully, students, you will also get this opportunity for the next FY, inshallah, when you become our MIE expert. So this is one of the premier programs for Microsoft Education. Yeah, it's not just for Malaysia, it's a global, it's for worldwide educators. And if you feel that, you are the type of teacher who likes to do all that I've mentioned just now, and you like to explore Microsoft technology, you're using Microsoft Teams, you're teaching other people, then inshallah, this is the right program for you. Yeah. So for FY22, our fiscal year for the next cohort, right? So the emphasis is on educators, school leaders, and if you somehow, train even adults in Microsoft technology in education, right? You have that direct connection with teaching and learning. You are also welcome to apply as our certified MIE expert, right? So it is not only for teachers, right? But it's for anyone who is teaching or training and is in the teaching and learning line. Yeah, so again, it's for educators, professional development specialists, what else? School leaders, right? So that it's actually inviting more and more people to join this program. So for Malaysia alone, we have 217 MIE experts for the cohort 2020 until 2021. So right now, it's opened for everyone to nominate for cohort 2021 until 2022, right? So the nomination is now open. We'll go into that later. So for this cohort, we have 217 MIE experts in Malaysia alone, and the numbers are keep growing, right? And 132 from MOE, right? Whether they are teachers, they are PPD officers as well. 6 from MOHE, right? And 49 from MARA, MRSM, and 30 from private institutions and organizations. And when you join MIE Expert program, right? So this is just to show you what is the platform that you will be communicating or collaborating and networking with educators worldwide. So we have this Facebook group, which is managed by Microsoft Corp, right, in the US. So the one who manages this MIE Expert program as a whole is Sonia Delafos from Microsoft Corporation. So she has been very, very active in helping teachers. So this is the platform, the Facebook group, right? It's a private page. So let's say MIEs, they want to host their event, right? It's an event in Malaysia, but they want to invite educators from other countries so they can share it here. Or maybe MIEs have questions on Microsoft Teams or anything related to the MIE program for education. You want tips on how to use Microsoft Teams in your teaching and learning. You can also post it here, right? So this is a wonderful Facebook group that connects all the MIEs worldwide. So I believe for the next cohort, 2021 to 2022, there's going to be this Facebook group will be updated, right? For Malaysia, MIE Experts Malaysia, we have our own team, right, in Microsoft Teams. So any announcements that we want to give to our MIE Experts Malaysia, so it will be through email and also through this team. And just to also share with you, every month since December 2020, we've had this monthly community call with our MIE experts. And what we do is, it falls on Saturdays. We're supposed to have one this morning at 10, but we're postponing it to next week, inshallah. Next Saturday, inshallah, for the current MIEs. So there will be sharing sessions by representatives from MARA, from MOE, from MOHE, and even we have educators from private schools, private universities, right? And if there's time, we'll also do like any tech updates. So for example, one of our MIEs, Cikgu Fazli from SK Taman Bukit Indah, he had been using insights in education in Microsoft Teams for data tracking, right? for the students to see how many students attended the online classes and things like that, attendance. So not many people are using Insights in Microsoft Teams, this tool. So Cikgu Fazli actually shared about that to all the MIEs during this call, right? So it's sharing best practices in schools as well. And if Microsoft Malaysia, or if we want to share any programs for that month, then I will also take this opportunity to share it to the MIEs during this call, right? So it's a fun Saturday call that I believe that, you know, we all look forward to. So this is also the time that teachers get to connect with each other virtually, since everybody's at home, right? Okay, so every year for Microsoft Malaysia, right? So there is this apart from MIE Expert Program, there is actually this dedicated program. I will come back to this. There is this dedicated program, a premier program as well, which is called E2, Education Exchange. So previously, when we didn't experience this pandemic, right? So Microsoft actually sent selected MIEs, right, to attend this E2 in-person event. So some of our teachers actually went to Paris, Budapest, Toronto, right? And it was a fun and meaningful experience for our MIEs because they actually had to stay there, right? They got to stay there and connect with the other educators from other countries and participate in activities, right? And exchanging cultures and best practices. And most of our MIEs, right? I think all I can say who attended the E2 in the different countries, they actually came back with winning prizes, right? So they actually won the competition over there in different categories. So it's really wonderful to see all these achievements by our MIEs. So this year, right, in March, Microsoft had to do E2 again because Microsoft didn't want to cancel this beautiful program, so they did it virtually, right? And surprisingly, it was open to not just MIEs and showcase school leaders, but it was open to anyone, right? Everyone who wanted to experience E2, right? So it was a huge hit because the number of attendees for E2 was 30,500 plus, right? So this number was actually from Microsoft Corp. So it was a huge hit. So during this E2, the winners of the MIEs who participated in this Tech for Good challenge was actually awarded and announced during this live event. So coming back to the previous slide, right? So this Tech for Good challenge was actually an activity that it was open to all MIEs, right? And for those who won will be announced during the E2. And for Microsoft Malaysia, how we wanted to motivate and encourage our teachers to join and participate in this Tech for Good challenge, thanks to my director, Shida. So we actually managed to invite the celebrity Faizal Tahir to our boot camp to brief, to excite teachers to participate in this Tech for Good challenge. So these are some of the, initiatives by Microsoft Malaysia to empower our teachers, to excite them about our programs and to make it more meaningful and engaging for our teachers, inshallah. So during the E2, right? So during the digital E2, one of our MIEs, again, is a proud moment for us. One of our MIEs presented in this global event, right? So Cikgu Siti Nabila from IPGM. So she talked about accessibility tools to support diverse learners, right? And she was the only Malaysian teacher who gave a talk during the digital E2. And another wonderful news during the E2 closing, which was announced by our VP Education Worldwide, Anthony Salcito. One of our MIEs again won the Tech for Good Challenge, Cikgu Kamaria from SK Gombalai. So she actually did the project with her students, right, about saving turtles, and the project was beautiful. Inshallah, if we have another session, maybe we can invite Cikgu Kamaria to actually share with you about her project. But again, our MIEs, took it to the next level and achieved a lot in this. It's not just about this MIE expert program, it's actually how they constantly learn and continue to grow and achieve all these awards. So it's a proud moment for Malaysia. Okay, so let me just check with the MC. MC, is it okay if I continue, or do you want to take questions? Let me know. Anybody? Are we okay to proceed?
I think everyone have already finished the learning path of MIE.
Awesome. Yep. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so all of you are certified MIE, eh? So this is what you want to know about, right? MIE expert nomination. So it's already open since 6 May until 15 July. All right, so that's the due date. So since you are going to be teachers soon, inshallah, right? So we hope that all of you in this call right now will be able to join this program. And as I've mentioned to Dr. Rafiza, the nomination process now is actually using a new nomination tool. So there are new sets of questions. And this is the link to go to the new nomination page, right? aka.ms/edunomination, right? And everyone, all of the MIEs, whether you were MIE before, every year you have to renew your nomination. So that's the process, right? To maintain in every cohort, you have to renominate yourselves. And as I've mentioned, it's open to all educators, school leaders, PD specialists, and you have to set up an account, right? It's very direct, so just go to this link and then you'll be able to follow the sign up in your page, right? And there is this Word document for you, right? So if you go to aka.ms/MIEE questions FY22, so I'm going to click that for a while. So just to show you, this is also available in the event course site, which you can download and refer to. So this is your guidance, right? Your guidelines to apply as MIE expert, right? So I cannot put it in the chat, but I hope you know where to find this, right? You just go to MEC or just search for MIE expert nomination. Then you'll be able to access this as well. All right. And just to share with all of you as well, the new nomination tool is actually using machine learning for scoring. So there's going to be 3 phases that you have to complete. The first 2 phases, the one that's being scored and your answers will be assessed, is using machine learning. And then the last part would be evaluated by Microsoft's team field. Okay, so let's say you've completed, you have completed the submission, and let's say you've made it, right? You got everything. So you will receive an email indicating that you have successfully completed the nomination. And also, I want to share with all of you, you will only get your, how do you say it? You're confirmed in the program on August 30th, right? August 30th. So let's look at this timeline, because this would be also the timeline for you so that you are prepared. May 6th, nomination tool opens, and July 15, nomination will close. Inshallah, you will still have time now. And July 16 until August 30th would be the Microsoft team field to review your long form questions and answers. And that will determine whether you will be accepted or not, right? So this is the period that it's not going to be machine learning, but it will be a human being who will be assessing the long form questions. And August 30th would be Microsoft will announce who are the MIEs for cohort 2021 into 2022. So this one is not applicable to us at the moment. These are the questions, right? The one that same here, you can have access to this. And let's look at this, right? So the first part is actually to understand about you when you sign up, right, at the event call site. So make sure if you are putting your email address, make sure you put it correctly, right? And what's your home address? And so let's say, I think, now they are asking for this is to actually, let's say Microsoft decides to give you all the MIEs, some merchandise and things like that. So it will be used for that, right? And what's your organization website? And I understand that right now, you are not in any school at the moment, yeah, for the pre-service teachers, then you can put UM. And I believe you can also, they would understand that you are a pre-service teacher, right? So this question, is your school a showcase school, incubator school? So this is not applicable to you, right? But for just to share with you for other teachers, whether they are in private or public schools, we have actually a program dedicated for schools, which we call it Showcase School Program. So they can choose this one. And what age range do you teach? So go back to what you are experiencing right now, right? If you have, you are teaching adults, right? Because you're in the university, then you can actually select all that apply. If you have taught, any students, then you select that as well. So it depends on your experience. Yeah? And do your students or learners have access to internet at school? So I believe this is something that you would understand, right? And at home, so this page is actually just to collect information about what you do, who you are, and things like that, right? Okay, so share the URL to your social handles if you have, right? So I understand some teachers, they told me, I don't have TikTok, I don't have a YouTube channel, I don't have a blog or anything else. Is that okay? Does that mean that I'm not going to be accepted into the MIE Expert program? No, right? So again, this part is to learn about you, to know about you, right? And to get to know you. But I just want to mention that if, let's say, you don't have any Facebook, right? It's not mandatory for you to have a Facebook handle, but as mentioned before, how Microsoft communicates actively to the MIEs through Facebook and also Twitter, right? So maybe you want to create it just for the MIE Expert program, but if you don't want to, it's okay, it's up to you. Okay, so what tools or devices do you use regularly? So I believe you know this part. And I've also received a question, if I'm using Chromebooks or Zoom, does that mean that, I cannot be MIE Expert because these are not Microsoft tools? No, again, I'm sure you use a lot of tools, a lot of devices, but of course, if you have not used Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Teams, this would be the time for you to explore, all right? While you still have time to nominate yourself. Okay, please do explore. And what tools does your organization use? So I believe you know the answer to this. And with what other EdTech communities are you connected or involved in, right? So this is also another thing that teachers have asked me. Fai, I'm not familiar with all of this, right? I'm not a part of any of these EdTech communities because I'm a new teacher, right? So is this going to affect the scoring part, right? I'm not a GC Google certified coach. I'm not a Bunsey ambassador. So again, don't worry. Maybe this is also the time for you to explore these EdTech communities because you can learn a lot from these communities, especially if you want to learn more about Minecraft, right? So there is a program where you can become a Minecraft global mentor. So in Malaysia, we have a number of Minecraft global mentors among our educators in Mara and also in MOE. So do check it out, right? While you still have time, inshallah. Don't worry. Okay, so these are the questions that are going to be scored by machine learning. Okay, so let's look at these questions. So how many courses, learning paths, or trainings on MEC that you have completed? So I want to remind everybody, try to apply MIE Expert early. Okay, look into these questions, the questions that you have just now, right? This is available online. So look at these questions because if let's say you don't meet the criteria, right? When answering these questions, you don't meet the criteria and you didn't pass the first time, at least you have a chance to try again, okay? So don't wait until last minute. This is my advice to you. Don't wait until last minute to apply for MIE Expert. If you are really keen in joining, right? You can already start going through the questions. Okay, so and then you have to provide a link to your transcript to the MEC, from the MEC. So that's why I started showing you from the MEC just now. So you have to download your transcript. So just a quick check with all of you. Do you know how to download your transcript? If no, I will quickly show now. If you do, then I can just skip this part.
Isn't it on the website that we use to do the learning path?
Yes. So everyone is clear on this part, right? You know how to generate your transcript?
Yes.
Okay, all right, great. So download the transcript and then put it in your OneDrive, right? Because you will have to share the link to that OneDrive to your transcript. Okay, so as evidence that you have a profile and you're certified MIE. Okay, so moving on. So these questions are actually to know how often do you use these tools, right? Or if you don't have access to it. So you have to go through this one by one. How often do you use Microsoft Teams in an instructional environment, whether you are training people or you are teaching your students, right? So answer honestly, yeah. And how often do you use Microsoft Forms in an instructional environment as well? So if you are only using Microsoft Forms to train your audience, right? Or maybe you are training in then you can answer that as well based on how frequent you use it. Or maybe in you're also using Microsoft Forms for your assignment, so you can answer it according to your experience. So OneNote. So if you look at the OneNote question here, how often do you use OneNote for personal or professional organization? So if it's you using OneNote alone just to take down notes or to have a collection of your notes, your meeting details, or you're using it for professional purposes, right, at work, then you can put in, right? So for me, I use OneNote on a daily basis. So because I use it a lot for my meetings, for my note taking and things like that, right? And how often do you use OneNote class notebook with your learners, right? So if you're doing training on OneNote or you're using it for your students, that's the question that you have to answer. Okay, how often do you use Flipgrid? Flipgrid is a tool where if you're not familiar with Flipgrid yet, this is the time for you to also go to the Flipgrid website, because this tool is actually for you to take videos, right? Do screen recordings, and you want to produce that video. You can even integrate Flipgrid in Microsoft Teams. So if you have not used this tool yet, please do explore, and maybe it can be one of your sharing sessions or training for UM. Okay, so Flipgrid is a wonderful tool and a lot of students love it. Okay, and how often do you use Minecraft Education Edition? So for UM students, I want to highlight this, right? You have access to Minecraft Education Edition. Okay, University Malaya and other public universities, you have access to this. So it's not the normal Minecraft, is Minecraft Education Edition, where you can use it for your teaching, for your training. You can even use it for your learning experience. So to support your game-based learning, right? So please explore if you have the chance to, and you do have access to it. So let's say you're trying and then you only have access to the trial version. Then let me know, let Dr. Rafiza know, so that she can let me know and we'll get our partner to help you with that. Okay, so the next question, how often do you use the following STEM resources or tools with learners, right? So again, if you're not familiar with MakeCode, you can, we have run programs where we invited Project Mika, this teacher community, no, I think it's a company, right? Project Mika, to deliver trainings on MakeCode. So microbit and things like that. So feel free to explore. I know, just take this as an opportunity for you to explore the things that, you know, that would be useful for your teaching and learning, right? Okay, so next, how often do you use the following features of PowerPoint for teaching and learning, right? So these features are available in PowerPoint, right? So you can actually do inking if you're using a Surface, or if you're using any other device that you can have that touch screen. And then you can embed forms, right? And you can actually practice your presentation using the presenter coach feature. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you can do, the features that will really help you for your training, for your teaching and learning. So again, explore these if you haven't, right? And you teach other people as well, because a lot of people may not know about this. Okay, and again, this comes back to the Flipgrid virtual field trips. So this is actually something that our teachers also do. They actually host or attend virtual field trips through Flipgrid, right? So if it's a 0, then it's okay, right? If you've never heard of this before, or if you know about it and you have joined, then you put the number based on the past 6 months. So again, same thing, GridPal is also part of the grid. And how do you or your learners use these features in the Microsoft Edge browser? So students, if you have your Windows 10 devices, right, like right now I'm using Windows 10, so there is this Edge browser. If you have not explored yet, so this is the time for you to open, launch that Microsoft Edge, and there is actually in MEC a course on Windows 10. So it teaches you on Microsoft Edge as well. Yeah. Okay, so these courses that you can explore, and explore all of this, because these features would be very, very useful for you in your teaching and learning, and also your training. Okay, so it's not to stop you from using other browsers, right? Feel free to use that, but maybe it's also the time that you can start using Edge browser for your teaching and learning and training. Okay, so this is one of the famous features, right, available in Microsoft tools, especially in OneNote. We have this immersive reader, and now it's also available in Microsoft Forms. It's available in Minecraft. So I hope you have used this immersive reader before. It's actually a tool to help students listen to the text being read aloud, as mentioned here. So you have to select all of the answers that's applied to immersive reader and learning tools. So just a quick one. Anybody from the call, if you want to give it a try and answer this particular question. We actually did this when I was briefing MIE expert program to MRSM teachers. So it was actually fun to, just do this pop quiz together. Anybody wants to try? Anybody familiar with immersive reader? You can come up mute.
Yes. I did it for ebook for the Microsoft. It's about.
Do you want to share what's which one that applies for immersive reader and learning tools? Maybe you can also help out your friends.
Yep. I did it for Microsoft Edge because it have immersive reader. It's very good for us as teacher because first thing it helps the student to read line by line, and also beside I also can use the picture dictionary. In the Microsoft Edge, it's very good.
Yeah, awesome, right? That's great. And I'm sure that you can also answer this, right? So for example, the first one, immersive reader, is to listen to text being read aloud as words are highlighted. Is this true or false?
Yes.
True. Okay, what about the next one? Choose how content is presented visually. Is this true or false?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, all right, good. Collaborate with others through chat.
I didn't use it.
Yeah, so it's not applicable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about translate text into over 60 languages? Is this available in immersive reader and learning tools?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So use a built-in dictionary for real-time vocabulary support.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So what about the last one? Capture video of students reading text to share with others. Can it capture video?
Of student reading text, I
don't think so, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this is, to give you a tip, students, if you are answering the MIE expert questions, right? These questions. So you can actually do a session together. By the way, it's not cheating. It's actually to learn with each other how to answer these questions. Okay, so especially for those who are very new to these tools, right? So you can actually do it together, right? So you can actually answer these questions together. It's actually encouraged by Sonia as well, right? So when she was doing this MIE briefing, so we also encourage our MIE experts to not delay this application process for MIE expert program and teach those who are new to this program, right? And if those any of you are struggling to answer the questions, you can actually answer together in a discussion mode. So you can do that. Okay. So coming back to the question, accessibility checker in tools like PowerPoint, Word, Excel. So again, accessibility checker is one of the features in PowerPoint to make your content accessible and your content more inclusive to support different learning needs, right? So for example, if you're using a PowerPoint and in your class, I'll give you an example, right? In your class, you have students with dyslexia, or you have students who are with visual impairment, right? Or maybe you have students who are relying on screen readers. So you have to make your content accessible, am I right? So there is this feature, accessibility checker, for you to use in Microsoft tools that can support this, right? So it's called, it's also available in Sway. So you might want to explore that as well to answer these questions. So remember, students, these questions are scored by machine learning. Yeah. So it's not by a human being. So cannot give you markah ke apa kan. So it's 100% by the machine learning. Okay. So next, in a hybrid classroom, Teams is used for, right. So I want to also ask you students, you are familiar with hybrid classroom, right? Hybrid learning. So maybe,
yes.
yes, so in universities, this is something that you do, right? Some of you go to classes and then you also have the online courses. You have that synchronous, asynchronous lessons, right? So during this pandemic, hybrid classroom or hybrid learning is very, very one of the best methods for you to, for students and teachers to learn, right? So Teams can actually help you with this. So you need to check all that apply. So why not we do this again? So you are already familiar with Teams, right? So let's try to answer this together, but I leave that to you to answer them. Do you want to do that, just like what we did just now?
Sure, Ms.
Sure.
Fairuz.
All right.
Sure, Ms. Fairuz.
Okay, so who wants to go first? Meeting environment with video chat and screen sharing.
True.
Yes, so this is applicable, okay? So a learning management platform. Is it a learning management platform or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very good. So collaboration in both in-person and asynchronous settings.
Yes.
Yes, all right. Bring in guest speakers or connect with classroom around the world.
Yes.
Yes, you can add guests, right? So embedding other tools like Kahoot, Flipgrid.
Yes.
Yes, right. So all of these are, you can select all of these for this question. Okay. All right, good. So next, formative assessment measures students' learning and is typically done when? All right, so I'm sure you are familiar with formative and summative assessment, right? Because you're going to be teachers. This is something that you have learned since maybe first sem, I don't know. And it's also something that you will continue to apply in schools as well. So when is it being measured? When do we use formative assessment? So, okay, so this is something that you have to, understand, right? So it can happen anytime, I believe so. So I leave that to you to answer this. So usually summative assessment is, the final exams and things like that. So formative assessments is actually the continuous assessment, right? So if teachers give quiz, if they give pop quiz, or like what we are doing right now, check-ins, so that's also counted as formative assessment. Okay, all right. So when you create a quiz or a poll in forms, what question types do you have available? So again, I'm sure you are familiar with Microsoft Forms. If you are not, you can go to Office 365 or go to forms.office.com and choose quiz, right? And see whether these are available or not. Okay, so just a quick one. Anybody knows the answer? Which one applies to creating a quiz or a poll in Microsoft Forms? Any
Choice.
choice? What else? Ranking?
Yes, ranking, yes.
Yes,
I think
ranking.
yes. Text.
Text.
Yes.
Rating?
Yes.
Like liquor. Is that how you pronounce it?
Never heard of that. You answer.
Yes. So it is available in Microsoft Forms.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so please do, because there's actually an option for you to choose. So you can actually create that. Okay, so good. So next, when using OneNote, students can create their own practice math assessments with forms that will show them if they got the correct answer. So
Yes.
True.
yes, right. So those who have used this is actually a powerful math feature. Is actually a powerful feature in OneNote. And recently, we actually had a training for students, school students in our school grade program. So our GTP, our global training partner, actually showed this feature, and then the students loved it, right? So this is something that you can consider doing. If you haven't, you can consider doing training on this to lecturers or students. Okay, so next, what type of teams are available in Microsoft Teams in education? So this one everybody must know.
Class team.
Class, staff,
Class team,
PLC,
staff,
sports, and
PLC,
animation.
sports.
Okay, so there's only 4 teams available in Microsoft Teams in education. Okay.
Except for anyway.
Yes, except for
Okay,
that
it's
one.
actually except for sports.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, I think I.
Oh yeah, because I saw a sports selection in my teams, I guess.
Okay, so there's actually class, right, for you to do your assignments and things like that. Staff is between colleagues, right?
Yes.
PLC and anyone, or it used to be called as others. So now
Oh.
it's anyone. But I think I understand when you select sports is when you want to put the avatar for the team, there's actually an image of sports. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so it's good. This is a good discussion, right?
If
So
is so, is there a wrong answer, or we
yeah,
got
it's
it wrong?
the sports team is not available.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so there are 4 types of teams. Yeah. Okay. So next, what is the correct order of creating breakout rooms? So breakout rooms is also another feature available in Microsoft Teams. So it's one of the new features in Microsoft Teams, right? So it's very useful because before this, even when I was doing training, this is one of the features that, even lecturers actually ask me, is there any feature that like what we can do in our learning management system, like for example, Blackboard or Moodle? So now it's also available in Microsoft Teams. So this is something that I urge you to explore, right? If you have not, give it a try, and then you can come back to this question and answer it, okay? But most importantly, I want you to try it, because this is a wonderful tool that you can actually do breakout rooms, breakout challenges for your audience or for your students, okay? All right. So how we have 1 hour and 30 minutes, right? Am I right? For this session?
I guess so.
Yeah, okay, all right. So if it's 1 hour, then it's already 12. Okay, so long form questions. So this is something that you really have to pay attention to, because this is not scored by machine learning. This is by a human being, right, from Microsoft. And if these questions are also available in these questions, okay? So you can actually look here. Okay, so take time to once you complete the another thing is you don't have to necessarily go into event call and straight away answer and terus submit in one day. You can actually take your time, but just be mindful of the time. Okay, so were you a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert before? So if yes, you answer yes, and this is just to share with all of you. This is the question for existing MIEs, right? If the answer is no, then you continue here. Describe how you leverage Microsoft tools to increase accessibility for all learners in your classroom. So meaning, if your learners are those people who you train, right? They are not school students, or your learners here, the context is referring to lecturers that you train in UM, or educators, or students. Then how did you use Microsoft tools to support these different learning needs, right? Even when you attend a class or you attend training, different people prefer, some prefer visual and audio visual learners, and some prefer to read, some prefer to do individual, activities, some people prefer group activities. So describe about how Microsoft tools, any tools in Microsoft that has helped you to achieve this, okay? And just a tip, Microsoft Teams can actually support all types of learners, right? Depending on what tools you integrate. So a lot of our teachers would actually focus on Microsoft Teams with the other tools, okay? So 500 characters minimum and 2,000 characters maximum. So characters here meaning the alphabets, right? Not words. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And the next one, tell us about a series of lessons. It could be a project, or it could be an activity that you did with your learners. If, again, it depends on who your learners are, just choose one or a series of lessons that you incorporate Microsoft technology to achieve the outcomes, right? To achieve the learning outcomes. And it also emphasizes what 21st century learning design skills were included, right? In this project or this activity, and explain in detail how those skills were developed. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to pause here for a while. How many, okay, all of you are already familiar with 21 CLD learning path, correct? And you can actually, you know, if you already have this project or this activity that you want to write about to answer this question, so focus on what what skills, maybe one or two skills, okay? You don't have to be over ambitious to put in all of the skills unless you are describing a project, okay? So in 21 CLD, there is 6 skills, right? Collaboration, skill communication. So I'm sure whatever that you do in your project, it touches on collaboration skill, okay? Meaning your learners are able to collaborate in that project and meet certain criteria of that collaboration skill, right? So think about this and describe it. How did your students collaborate? How did your learners actually collaborate in this project? Okay, so take time to really think about this using that Microsoft technology. Okay, and if let's say it's collaboration with the use of ICT, it's easier for you to explain as well, because confirm that you are using Microsoft technology, then you can also include that explanation on that ICT skills, right? So if you want to understand more about 21 CLD, or to have a quick reference to the 21 CLD, I want you to go to this education.microsoft.com, right? And you can actually access the OneNote notebook here, right? So because you have completed this, but just to give you a reference to this 21 CLD. So if let's say we go to collaboration, right? Your project involves students collaborating with one another, right? And if you click on this section in this OneNote, sorry about this. Okay, so if you click on the collaboration skill, so it actually gives you the big ideas, meaning the criteria of each collaboration. So check those criteria or those big ideas and see how you can actually incorporate that in your explanation to answer the MIE expert. Okay, so another tip is if you are just about to come up with an activity or a new project, right? And you are just about to work on this project, then maybe you can also go here and refer to this and you ask yourself, what is the skill, 21st century skill that you want your students to achieve from this project? Okay, so you can actually work backwards. So what is the 21 CLD skill that you want to your students to achieve from this activity and this project, and work on it. And for again, for collaboration skill, I want my students to use OneNote, right? OneNote plus notebook, so that they can do those activities together, brainstorm ideas and things like that, right? Then you can actually refer to the criteria as well while planning your activity. Okay, so just to give you an idea, it's either you want to use an existing activity or project, and then you answer this question, or you want to create or start on a new activity or project and then incorporate, you know, this 21 CLD and this Microsoft technology. Okay, so I hope you understand this part. Okay, and don't be overwhelmed if let's say you haven't taken this learning path, because it's a 20 hours of 20 hours duration to complete this learning path. If you feel like, there's too much that I have to do just for MIE expert program, and if you feel like you're running out of time, just refer to this OneNote notebook, right? So that you understand better. Okay, so the next question, after this we'll open for Q&A. So the next question, provide a link to an example of a learning artifact. Okay, so the artifact is basically the evidence, right? When you are describing your answer, of course, the person who is going to assess your answer needs proof. Okay, so whatever that you do with your learners, if you're using, you're having a Microsoft Teams meeting, or like what we're doing right now, right? You have this recording or screen captures. So as proof that your students are actually working on your project, please put it in a OneDrive, right? My recommendation is either you screen capture everything and put it in OneDrive, or the easiest, which is to create a sway. So this is the easiest way that you can put your learning artifacts or evidence, right? Put it in a sway because it's more organized. So maybe you can, mention this is the pre-activity, what the students, my learners did for this activity, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the objective. And then this is the while, right? During the activity, what did they do? What from this activity, what did they have to do? These are the pictures, right? And from here, my learners achieved the collaboration skill because they had to do this. So it's easier for you to describe and put your evidence, screen captures lah. If you want to only put your screen captures on, it's okay. Put it in a sway. So it's easier for the person who evaluates your answer to understand. Okay, because let's say if you just throw everything, right, your materials or your videos, everything, then make sure it's very clear for the person who's going to evaluate to understand what you are trying to convey. Okay, so make sure you have those learning artifacts. Okay, so if you're using OneDrive or you're using Sway, make sure you get that link, the view link, right? So make sure it's set to anyone with the link can view. Okay, so it's not a private URL, because let's say you accidentally shared a link that is private, and then that person won't be able to access, right? So I don't think it's, it's going to be something that that person is going to reach out to you. Oh, can you give me the link? I cannot access your link. I don't think it works that way. So because there's going to be a lot of submissions, so make sure it's not a private link or URL. Okay, make sure you try it first and see if it's accessible or not. Okay, all the tips have been given to you, so please be careful when you submit your answers. Okay, so describe the artifact, right? So again, if you have already provided the link, so you can easily answer these questions, okay? And share 2 examples of how you have supported your own learning and the learning and growth of your colleagues, meaning in this case would be your friends. So whatever, let's focus on your learning first. Okay, how do you support your own learning? All right, so maybe you take courses in MEC, right? So for your professional development, maybe you attend webinars, maybe you join EdTech communities, right? Being a Minecraft Global Mentor, for example, right? So that's for you, okay? So next, describe how you impact your colleagues, right? Not your students, but your colleagues. In this case, would be your friends, right? Or maybe when you do training, when you do webinar, when you do, maybe you want to give a challenge to your colleagues. Okay, apart from this webinar, I'm going to give you a challenge that you have to understand my training content. You have to do a Flipgrid video to share your responses. You can also describe that activity. So I'm giving you ideas, right? So how you want to make the learning meaningful for your colleagues, so that it's impactful, right? And describe the activities that you completed and led and how it resulted in better teaching and learning, right? So you just take time to really describe the activities, okay? So that you did. Okay, so these are a new set of questions in an MIE expert, right? So previously it was different, right? So now it's more of giving you the opportunity. If you look closely, it's actually giving you opportunity to learn more about Microsoft technology, Microsoft Teams, Office 365, and what, the things that you are not familiar with, right? So please, after this call, go through this and plan how you want to answer this, whether you want to do it yourself or you want to do it in a group, right? And explore, right? Explore. And so again, these are also resources available for you, right? So MEC, and then if you want any support, you can actually click on support.microsoft.com and you can just type, I want a quick learning on OneNote, okay? So it will actually list all of the reference on OneNote or the blogs that you can straight away go to, right? So make use of this support as well. And what else? Flipgrid, if you're not familiar with Flipgrid, you can actually take the course on Flipgrid and explore, right? And of course, 21 CLD, just like what I showed you just now. Okay, so I think, let's go back to my slides. Is basically the thing. So this is again a reminder, right? Make use of the aka.ms MIE questions FY22, this one, okay? And again, I've explained this throughout the call. The term educator refers to you, pre-service teachers, professional learning specialists, school leaders, teachers, anyone who supports teaching and learning, and you want to, that's the term of educator in MIE expert program, right? And the term learner is anyone who receives the instruction from you. Okay, so whether it's adults that you're training or students, okay? So please do understand this, it's not just for classroom teachers or school students. And the about you info, again, remember this part Okay, so phase one, about you, it does not impact your nomination. So it's meaning it doesn't give you marks, right? So just make sure you put in the accurate details. So phase three is what matters the most, right? So phase three is this one. Okay, the long form questions. Okay, the long form questions. So make sure you really you really think about your answers and carefully answer it. And before, this is a very good tip from Sonia, right? Before you submit, you can actually save and exit. Okay, so before you do that submission, you can actually check with maybe Dr. Rafiza, or you want to check with your friends, listen and get feedback on your answers. So that's why it's encouraged for you to also answer it in a group, right? So that you can, run through your answers with each other if you want. Okay. And so I think I've explained this, right? What is the meaning of artifact? And okay, make sure you specifically mention the 21 CLD skill when you're answering the question. Okay, so again, from this OneNote notebook, you can actually focus on or understand more about the 21 CLD skill while you want to refine your answers. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Any questions? We have about 15 minutes.
Miss Fairuz,
Yeah.
you mentioned just now the step on becoming MIEE, right?
Yeah.
First sign in and then complete 2 hour course minimum, and you said another way, attend a training session for 2 hours. So is it it's not compulsory attending the 2 hours, or
You mean the certified MIE, not MIE expert, right?
oh okay, I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why I started with MEC, MIE, right? So just for you to understand
So
what,
just so you mean that just to be in IEE, answer all the questions that the questionnaire has just given, right?
yes,
Or is
MIE
okay,
expert, correct.
so before this, there's a session with you. You talk about the training with 100 people participant that we
MIE
needed.
trainer.
So do we need to do the 100 participant with a code, then we can pass, or just answer the questionnaire? Is that it?
Okay, so that is another program.
Okay.
So that is MIE trainer, the one that Dr. Rafiza wants you to become MIE trainers, right? So this one is MIE expert program. MIE.
So it's not compulsory to have 100 participant. So it's different part, is it?
Yeah, that's a different program.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so and just a quick one. This is how it looks like, right? msedu.eventcore.com, right? So this is the page where you want to apply as MIE expert, right? So when you click here, okay, so you can actually choose the preferred login method if you want to use Facebook. Microsoft account means if you have outlook.com, your personal account. Even hotmail.com if we are still using Hotmail. And if you have yahoo.com, you can actually register it as a Microsoft account, right? No problem. And work or school account is your Office 365, the one that you use siswa.edu.my. So it's up to you which one that you want to use for the login for this MIE expert program, okay? Or you can even create a username and password to register, okay? So these are just to show you how it looks like when you want to apply. So when you go in, then you have to fill in the info and then you can nominate as a MIE expert. Okay, so back to you guys. Any other question? I hope it's clear.
I think
One more. Sorry, Miss Fairuz.
Okay.
All right. Right now we're using our SISWA account. For example, after we're done with UM, and then we go into a school environment. So, how about the previous certification? How do we need to take it again? The MIE.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's actually a good question. So when you go to the event course site, maybe in your case, when are you going to start teaching?
Uh,
When are
28,
you?
28 July, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So you're going to wait for the placement, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe what you can do when you want to nominate or apply, you use your personal email.
So we need to retake our 31 CLD again, the
No,
teams.
no.
Oh, no, no.
Okay. So for MIE expert, hold on, let me share. For MEC, education.microsoft.com. Okay, so you're talking about this platform, right? MEC?
Yes.
So which email did you use for this?
Right now we're using the SISWA account.
Okay.
After we're done from UM, so if we got a staff, for example, you got posted into a government school, so we are given a new email address, for example, Sekolah Garuda account. So how do we need to retake everything we have
Okay.
done?
Don't retake. Okay, so this is what you can do. Because right now, look, I'm using my personal account. So previously, I used my work account. Okay, but then, as you mentioned, when we switch organization, for example, then I didn't want to lose whatever achievement that I've collected, right? So I've actually used this since 2015. So I don't want to lose all of this, and I don't want to retake, of course. So what you can do is going to MEC. You can either you can even do it now or before you leave UM. You can scroll down and you click contact us. Can you see at the bottom of the page? Okay. So when you click here, you can actually request a support ticket. Okay, just sign in using your email, request a support ticket, and explain that you want to change your credentials. That's what I did. Okay, so you want to change your credentials and you don't want to lose whatever achievements that you have right now. So inshallah, Microsoft will be able to, the tech support will be able to merge. It's either merge your account into the new one or move your account to the new email. I hope that answers.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's actually a very good question. Thank you for that. Okay. Any more questions?
I think there are questions in the chat box. One first.
I cannot see the chat box.
Yeah.
I already added you as one of the guests and teams. So could you try
Okay. No, I don't have it.
Maybe I use another account that you give to Dr. Rafiza before. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah. So maybe
if I just read it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay. So one of the question is from Liana Husna. She asked about how to join MIE teams, and or is it only for those who already become a certified MIE? So that is her question.
Okay. So yeah, you have to be MIE expert first, and then you can we will invite you to the team.
So next, the second question is from Lim Wei Jia. He asked about, since we are pre-service teachers, and so any question regarding school or our learners, how are we going to answer the part? Because there are a question about the schools and learners. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so it goes back to the term learners, right? It's if you have been teaching adults for now, right? And for example, in you have been doing a lot of training. So the term learner is actually anyone who receive instructions from you in teaching and learning. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in school, right? So let's say they are, which question is that? Yang they are asking about school and organization, is that?
Yep.
So even for this part, let me share my screen. Okay, so coming back here, right? So even for this part, current role at school or organization. So you can actually choose which one is applicable to you. So if there's no mentioning that you're a student or a pre-service teacher, right? Is there a pre-service teacher? I am a student enrolled in a college of education of a pre-service teacher. You select this one. Okay, so what range do you teach? So you can actually, it goes back to your learners, whether they are adults or you select all that apply, right? Delivering professional development to teachers, maybe you are doing that as well, so you do that. So it's not only for students in schools, but this program is also for you as well. So I hope that's clear.
Okay, thank you, Puan Fairuz. Is there anyone have any question? I think that's all. So thank you, Puan Fairuz, for those sharing just now. It's
No problem.
fine information, and I hope all the peer coach take note all the steps to be an MIE expert, and this will make us more easier to go to the nomination of MIE expert. Okay, so I believe that concludes our today's sharing session. I want to convey my gratitude to Puan Fairuz for taking the time to share with us today. I hope everyone will understand what she talked about. And before we leave, it will be a photo session. So I give to the responsible committee members to take a photo. So everyone, please open your webcam.
So Dr. Rafiza has been sharing what you guys have been doing. So it's really, really amazing. So congratulations, everybody. And, inshallah, all hard work paid off lah, kan? So you guys have achieved a lot. So feel free, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'll check again if I can access the team. So anytime that you have any question, Kappa, feel free to let me know. And let's say if you want to have easier communication, you want to have a WhatsApp group, I'd be happy to join that so that you can ask me any questions.
Miss Fairuz, do you mind to give an email address that because I want to invite you into our teams, and then
Yeah.
maybe you could pass to Dr. Rafiza, and then I'll ask her after this.
Can. All right. I will do that. We were screen capturing the photo. Are you ready?
Yep. Who is the responsible? Okay, Izati.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
Miss
much.
Fairuz.
Thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you.
I wish you all the best. Take care. Stay safe.
You too. You too,
Okay,
Miss.
so that's all. Yeah, Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Right.